Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite back at you. Well, we made it. It's now officially 2024. I spent the day yesterday putting Christmas back in the boxes and storing them away until next year. And it's always kind of a disappointment or whatever, having to put Christmas back in the box, but got to get ready for the new year. And if you're getting ready for the new year, you may want to be talking about setting goals for the next year, making whatever you want to call them, maybe New Year's resolutions. I've got some thoughts and some tips and want to share a couple of things that we're planning for 2024. So stick around. So if New Year's resolutions and setting goals for your upcoming year, I guess if you are somewhat of a prepper, or if you're a full-blown prepper, you know the importance of setting goals. And as some of our friends like Prepper Nurse 1 says, you know, one thing at a time, one step at a time, whatever he says, and you can get the job done if you break it down into little component factors, work on a piece of it every chance you get, and make continuing progress over time on your goals. Well, I stumbled on a very informative website, and it's from trueprepper.com. And there's a lot of good stuff on this. I'll put a link to the website in the comments below so that you can go there. But they published prepper resolutions and put them in, I guess, 10? Yeah, pretty much 10 categories here. So let me just run down through the categories. Pick up a new hobby. Not a bad idea. Get back to basics. Rotate your food storage. Break a bad habit. Diversify your finances. Volunteer in your community. Get your kids involved. Meet other preppers. Get organized. Improve your fitness. So those are 10 pretty broad categories, and within those 10 categories, I think every single one of us can find something that's going to be absolutely worthwhile setting goals for 2024. As you all know, and maybe you don't, but I keep a journal, a daily journal every day, and I'll just make notes of what the weather was like that day, what activities I was involved in, who came to visit, where we went during the day, and any other kind of fun things that happen during any individual day. And I keep the journal daily all the way through the year. Find it very valuable to go back through it and try to remember. Now, what day was it that Aunt Sally showed up at the house? And you can kind of flip back through and say, oh yeah, it was 3 weeks ago on Thursday. Okay, great. So for that reason, I just enjoy keeping it. And I think there's a legacy involved in this, that after I'm gone, at least my kids and grandkids will be able to flip through that and enjoy it. My granddad did the same thing, kept a journal every day, and my cousins got them now. One of these days I'm going to get them back again and be able to kind of run down through them, but that's between my cousin and me. Anyway, the whole point of this is when I get to the end of the year with my journal, I'll flip through day by day and just make a note, put a sticky note on it or whatever for like really big moments, things that really shook things up. Like, you know, if you're, we were able to adopt out a foster dog earlier in the very beginning, maybe February of this year, and we had fostered this dog. Just didn't work out for us, and we were able to get the dog rehomed to a loving home with a great person. So I was very pleased at the way that turned out. We did foster another dog during that year that didn't turn out real well at all, and unfortunately the dog ended up biting both me and the neighbor, and the dog had to be put down because of it was such a bite risk as a foster. We couldn't get that dog rehomed anywhere, and we got very lucky with our current golden retriever, who's a rescue, and she's just a charm. So those dates go in the year-end recap. Sentinel events like when my grandson got married and what day that was, and a few little notes and things like that. When we completed projects and stuff around the house, where we got the new flooring put in, or we got this done, or we got that done, and we just make a list, about a page long is really all it has to be for me, and it works out very well. And I noticed as I went through that exercise on New Year's Day, as I was retiring the old journal and getting ready to start a new one, is that one of the things that I wanted to put in this year's journal were a few goals that I wanted to set for me and the house and us together as husband and wife and all that. So just a few of those kinds of things. I want to make sure we can get the downstairs and upstairs hallways painted. Things like that. That's a goal. We can work on that a little bit at a time. If I decide that I don't want to be climbing around on ladders anymore, then maybe I'll hire it out, but that's to be seen. Painting's not all that difficult. I want to be able to get some price estimates on a front porch deck for our house here in our homestead. So that's on the list, to be able to get estimates for that, find out how much it's going to cost, and then arrange to make sure that we can afford it and it's going to work in the budget and all that. So that's one of the goals that I've got for the near future, is to get that kind of stuff taken care of. As far as improving my fitness, I think I've mentioned this before, but I've been on a modified ketovore diet, and thanks to Alaska Prepper for at least providing the impetus to have me commit to that kind of a lifestyle change. I started this about 6 months ago, and I've lost over 30 pounds. And I want to get down another at least 7 or 8 pounds, so at a nice round figure. So I've gone from about 240 down to about 215 right now. 214, I think, was what I weighed over the weekend, and I want to get down below 210. So I'm going to continue to do that. Right now, modifying the diet, very simple. I just cut back on carbs a lot, and that's basically all I did. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes about, 3-4 years ago, and at the time I was at about, my A1C was about 5, and it increased over time until it got to be about 7.4, 7.5. And I said, I got to do something with this. So the modified ketovore diet, I just pretty much got rid of carbs, but not entirely. I found that if I go for like a whole week with no carbs at all, there are some health issues that come along with that. Constipation, lack of sleep, kinds of weird things. So I do interject some carbs during the week. I used to have like 4 pieces of toast for breakfast with my eggs and bacon and stuff, and I cut that way back to maybe just 1 piece of toast and a couple of pieces of cheese. And for lunch, I used to go crazy and have, a big old ham sandwich or a bowl of spaghetti or something for lunch. And I cut that way back. And right now, I'll just have a piece of cold meat, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of cold meat, and a couple pieces of cheese. And then for dinner, just meat, vegetables, and a little bit of carbs in there just to kind of keep everything regular for me. So I still want to lose a few more pounds on that. Getting involved in the community, well, we are involved actively in our church and some of the activities that our church sponsors and that our church is active in. And I will continue to be as active in the church as I have been. Rotating food storage and getting organized. I think that's one of my weaknesses as a prepper, is that I'm not super religious about fully rotating our stock. So I can throw a couple of cans right up, and there's a space right in the front, so that's where they go. And I don't rotate them out. I spent money on first in, first out kind of shelving units and things like that. But I've still got to take time, maybe once every 2 months or every quarter or so, just to kind of go through things, look what's lurking in the background, and rotating things forward. I remember having to do this when I was a stock clerk in a grocery store as a young man, and we had to go through and rotate the stock and bring the old cans up front. So that's what I have to do, and it's something that I have to kind of force myself to do, and maybe you do too. So that's the rotation stuff. Getting organized, that's a never-ending battle. I have a tendency to be almost a hoarder. I know that my wife has a tendency to be a hoarder, and we keep everything. Oh my God, from bread wrapper twisty ties to the bread wrappers themselves and the plastic bags from the supermarket and all that. And every once in a while, I just got to stop and say, we got to go through all this stuff, reorganize it, toss out the stuff that we're really not using and that we really don't need, to make room for good stuff and to keep that quality turning around. So, meeting other preppers. I had a bad experience early on in my prepper career, excuse me, where I met a group, the leader of the group, who seemed like a really nice guy, but he was into prepping only for his own personal use, I think. I think he wanted to have a group of people surrounding him that worshipped him, and that did not work out for me at all. But since that phase has been gone, I have found a local group here in Wake County that seems to be very active. They do prepper weekend getaways and things like that, and I'm going to get a little bit more actively involved in that group to see what it's really like, and I would urge y'all to do the same. So we're not all sole survivors out there. We do need other folks to be part of our team. So as far as 2024 goes, we are looking forward to a pivotal year, a very consequential year. Whichever way it's going to turn out, there will be some kind of reckoning that's going to be going on over time. I don't know if it's going to be peaceful, if it's going to be revolutionary. I have no idea, but I am always concerned, and I want to make sure that I am ready for the turmoil that I see coming when we get close to and after the election this November. So, this is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see you all on the next video.